I have something that I don't know if I've ever shared before. Oh yeah, turn up the volume. Here we go. No, it's not that quite that interesting. In my early 20s, I started to cut my own hair. But of course, I tried to be fancy about it, so I'd shave the sides and leave the top a little longer. And my mom and a friend used to just like mock me and tell me, "Man, you need to go to a different barber." I didn't have the courage to say that I was my personal barber. And so I think this might be the first time that I actually share about that situation. Now, in our gospel reading, John the Baptist is simply encouraging the people to share. As Christian people, if we believe that God is loving, we receive this love, then we have to be loving in our deeds. And sharing is one of the easiest ways to express this. Of course, and John, just basically tells us to share some of our clothing and some of our food. Some of the things that we might take for granted, others might actually need. And so how important that is. And then John also calls the people to be honest. He doesn't, tell the tax collector or the soldier to change professions, but to be honest and also to not misuse their power. Tax collectors and soldiers had power over others, but they were not to misuse their power. They were to be honest with others, very simply. Now, the next part of the gospel, John places himself lower than a slave. Now, one of the ways I like to take this is to recognize, help us to recognize that no matter how much we share, no matter how honest we are in our work, no matter how good we are to people, we still have to accept the reality that our salvation, eternal life, God's love are all gifts to us. We can't even be like a slave to even do a small part. I mean, at the best, we can say yes to this gift, but even that is God's grace. So all praise and glory and honor to God. Now, in the first reading from the prophet Zephaniah is encouraging the people to rejoice. And it will be announced twice that the Lord is in the people's midst. If we think about the little baby, we have this baby, God among us. And yet, what does a little baby do? Well, a little baby, probably the greatest thing they do is they make us rejoice. They make us smile. They make us laugh. Some of the things they do are quite funny and crazy. And so, what a great gift it is. But if we want help with our work, if we want some wisdom, the child just simply is. And so this is one way that we have to approach Christ, is that Christ is simply with us. And we can rejoice in that. And Christ may not do anything in us and through us, but is just present. And we can think of the incarnation, and we rejoice at the thought of a baby, as long as somebody else is looking after the little baby. But then if we think about the second coming of Christ, we have Christ who's coming to complete the victory over evil through his death and resurrection. So this is a Christ that's very active. This also can make us rejoice. And yet we kind of hold the two, because there's times where we wonder, where are you, God? Why are you not active in my life, or seemingly active in my life? And then there's times where we can clearly see that God is active in our hearts and acting through us. And what a great gift that is. Now, in the second reading, the letter to the Philippians, this is a friendship letter. Paul doesn't write to, give the people all kinds of instructions or exhortations. He simply wants to just be grateful for the friendship that he has with the Philippian community and how supportive they have been. And this is also cause for rejoicing, but we rejoice in the Lord because it's really the Lord that holds us all together. And so as we gather around the table, Lord, once again, the Father will share the beloved Son with us through the Spirit, and we cannot help but be strengthened, be encouraged, so that we share with others. We are honest in our work, and we accept this gift of eternal life that our God so graciously gives us.